So you're living in Sweden now?
Yeah, I live in Stockholm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how's that for a guy from little Arcadia? Or is that so?
I mean, in terms of big cities, it's pretty accessible. I mean, I've also lived in London and Paris and a bunch of other big cities, but I think Stockholm is pretty calm compared to the other ones, which is probably why I ended up there.
So why did you end up in Stockholm?
There's a big circus school there. It's actually it's a university. Well, back when I first started going to Sweden in the year 2000 to teach there, it was just a circus school. But since then it's become, they've really built up the program to a university level. In fact, now we offer master's and PhD degrees.
Wow.
We just started doing that last year, which is pretty amazing. And since the Swedish system has a very, how to say, a little bit strange. So for example, in Sweden, if you come up with a new field of study, you're not allowed to make an entire new department in the university system. So they kind of have their 7 or 8 main overarching houses for the different departments of different studies. So when circus became a, codified and kind of accredited program, we couldn't have our own little department in the university system. Therefore, they had to stick us under the wing of something that already existed, which is why we're the University of Dance and Circus.
Okay.
Because we're part of the dance department. It was the closest thing they could think of to to align us with. But yeah, so it's you can go to school there and get a degree in circus. Or actually, you can get a degree in specializations. And so, for example, of course, I teach juggling, and you can get a degree in juggling. You can get a PhD or a master's in these subjects as well, which is pretty strange. That's more strange than living in Stockholm.
So your training, was it all self-taught?
Yeah. Which I think, in the just by pure luck, it was my strength, because I was just out back here behind this house, learning on my own, and so I kind of came up with my own style, which was different than other people. Again, just by accident, but also because I didn't have a teacher. I had to learn things on my own and figure them out, and then since I did figure them out, I could actually explain it to somebody else, which helped in the teaching at least.
And when did you start juggling? How old were you?
When I was 9. I did unicycle when I was 8, and then juggling when I was 9.
Were you in that
yeah
4-H club?
The Smiling Faces 4-H unicycle club. Yeah, that's how I started when I was 8. I learned to ride when I was 8, and then I was thinking, well, I have my hands free, so I should do something. And then I could juggle. But also, I had seen somebody doing it for sure. There's also unicycle meetings, or festivals or conventions or whatever you say, and we would do the unicycle club. They would do parades every year, and you would see different things.
Mm-hmm.
And
pick it up from others.
Yeah, so I'd seen somebody juggling for sure, and then I got a book. I don't know if it was from the library or we just found a book on juggling. Yeah. But I had learned when I was 9 and 3 balls. So I performed in Mexico. Was my 30th country now.
Wow.
I hadn't been to Mexico before, which was strange. But yeah, so Mexico was country number 30. Yeah, I taught, again, I get hired a lot these days for teaching because the Swedish school's quite famous for its program. My graduates are quite good, so everybody knows them and they know where they went to school, and so Sweden's kind of popular, and as I'm the head teacher, then they always want me to come teach. So I was teaching a master class there, and then I did 2 performances. They had a little competition, some sort of stage competition, and I had to be a judge, which was funny. And,
okay, and you're doing the Lions
on Sunday.
On Sunday.
Yeah.
So, and is that? I mean, do you enjoy doing something like that? Just a small venue, or?
Yeah, I prefer that actually. yeah, I really like small, intimate venues. It's much more fun, human. I don't know. I work a lot in Germany these days. The past few years on the cabaret stages, doing 10 shows a week for 2 or 3 months with no days off, and 2 shows a day, and coming here to Arcadia and doing one show at the community center is a lot more fun and human and
Yeah.
and exciting.
Well, how about returning to your hometown? Is there a good sense of pride in that? And
Yeah, I'm just super happy that my parents can see me perform, and that was also when I heard that the festival was going to come to Bowling Green this year. I said, well, I have to go, and then luckily enough they invited me to come work there, and yeah, I'm not doing it for the money, but I think I lucked out. I mean, again, I didn't choose any of this consciously, in terms of learning on my own, finding my own style. These things I've discovered later were assets. But for example, I'm much happier that I'm a juggler than a dancer or an actor. If you think about how many millions of actors there are in the world and how many millions of dancers there are, it's actually really good to be a juggler, because you could say, sure, there's not as many jobs for jugglers, but then at the same time, there's not as many jugglers to get those jobs. To be a juggler, it's not a bad business. I'll say that. It's not a bad thing, that it's something a little bit different.